Prochaine question va être pour la...
My next question is for the Public Service Alliance of Canada. During your appearance for the committee on September 22nd, I'd like to come back to training. You mentioned that if the government really wants to strengthen both official languages, they have to make language training accessible, geographically speaking, for all their workers. We know that some employees take the training, the language training, and they pass the test, they receive the bilingualism bonus, but then they don't use the language because they say it's too difficult. And so they end up benefiting, if you will, from additional money without actually making the effort of using the second language. So how do you think language training that is offered directly to employees is going to allow those employees to use the French more? Thank you very much, Senator Moncion, for the question. The language training is one of the tools in the toolbox or the toolkit to make the federal public service more bilingual, but also ensure that people feel comfortable working in both official languages. Obviously, if we have a work atmosphere that doesn't encourage you to work to speak both official languages, if there are activities or the tools that are at our disposal do not lend themselves well to practicing in both languages, it can be more difficult for some members, indeed, to work in the other official language. I think their working atmosphere needs to be created in which both languages are both accepted and encouraged. And also the reality is that for several regions, it's a reality more for Francophones who are obliged to speak English all the time, who are always forced to use their second language at work, which is English, in performing their duties, whereas they were hired for a bilingual position. So that can be discouraging, and they may just turn to using English all the time to make things easier. But if we had tools in place, or if we saw managers ensuring that they are encouraging the use of both languages, whether through running bilingual meetings or other measures, I think it would be easier for those employees. It would be easier for them to work in both languages in that sense. I agree with you. In fact, in my office, everyone's a Francophone. I know that the Chief Justice's office is also entirely staffed with Francophone and run in French. So as soon as a manager is in place who is Francophone, usually people who work beneath that manager reports to that manager are often bilingual. And in those circumstances, we do see offices that are able to express themselves in French at least as often as in English. My second question has to do with the bilingualism bonus. You talked about the $800 amount that's existed for years. It was never increased. It was never increased, and we wonder as well whether it's still necessary to offer that bonus, since no matter what, everybody ends up getting it anyway as soon as, well, Francophones obviously are going to get it automatically unless they find it difficult to speak English, but for Anglophones, it's practically guaranteed that they will receive it if they pass these competency tests. And they just do it once, and then they receive the bonus is added to their yearly salary for the rest of their careers, which means that at some point the bilingualism bonus doesn't really accomplish its stated goals or anything else. And so I'd like to hear your comments on that. Even if we increase that bonus, I'm not certain that it would confer any advantages, that at least not the ones that it once did. Answer, well, on behalf of our members, I can tell you that it's the opposite. In fact, the bilingualism bonus is an important tool for the federal public service. I think there may be a way to use that bonus more and better. I don't think it, but I think we could be more bilingual without relying on the bonus, but really it's about, and now what are people going to be able to do with that bilingual public service? The PSAC believes that the bilingualism bonus does reward Francophone and Anglophone bilingual employees, and it also encourages unilingual Anglophones to learn French and use it. But once again, we're going to use it as one tool amongst many, to encourage a more bilingual public service than we have today. Thank you.